Chapter 789, The Anger. This chapter is updated by Novels.pl. Who are you? Feng Han squinted into the darkness, facing the direction where the young man stood. Cold air radiated from his body and grew unceasingly intense, followed by the aura exuding from him. This time, Zhang Yuochen revealed his true self, whose face Feng Han never knew, lest he should recognize him as Lin Yue. Zhang Yuochen gently laid Sword Saint Xuanji's body on the ground, untied his Taoist cloak and covered his master's remains. Only then did he tighten his grip on the abyss ancient sword. With a cold murderous stare, he asked Feng Han, "Are you the fourth disciple of Sword Saint Xuanji Feng Han? Or are you the sixth royal prince of immortal vampires?" Feng Han scrutinized his opponent carefully. While he couldn't tell Zhang Yuochen's exact level of cultivation, he was certain it wasn't a half-saint. An ordinary monk of a fish-dragon realm. What's there to be afraid of? Feng Han let down his guard completely, licked his lips and then curved them into a sneer. "Does my identity matter to you?" "Of course," Zhang Yuochen replied through gritted teeth, "because your answer determines the way you are going to die." Relative to the vampires, my hatred towards a traitor is far greater. Had Sword Saint Xuanji died in a fair duel with 9 Serenity Sword Saint, Zhang Yuochen would not have felt such anger about his master's unjust death. At most he would challenge 9 Serenity Sword Saint in another duel in the name of Sword Saint Xuanji's apprentice, and bring back the honor by taking him down. All men must die. For a swordsman, to die in combat was seen as honorable. But to be defeated because the opponent fought dirty was unforgivable. He must avenge his master. The corner of Feng Han's lip twisted into a sneer again. He said, "I can already tell your identity, because of your hatred towards me." "Really?" Zhang Yuochen responded. "Who would hold enmity towards me if not the apprentices of Sword Saint Xuanji? The shooting star invisible cloak you are wearing belongs to third senior brother. Otherwise, it would have been impossible for you to have followed me this far without me realizing." Zhang Yuochen stared coldly at Feng Han. Sword Saint Xuanji was gone. There was no need to continue hiding his identity anymore. Though this did not seem to bother Feng Han, he said, "It doesn't matter if I am the 6th royal prince of the immortal vampires, or the 4th apprentice of Sword Saint Xuanji. Your current strength can never defeat me. In fact, you are digging your own grave for tailing me." Feng Han pointed at Zhang Yuochen. The next moment, the 4 half-saints of immortal vampires transformed to dark, human-shaped silhouettes and surrounded Zhang Yuochen's periphery. Other than half-saint Xi, the remaining 4 half-saints of immortal vampires were level 1 half-saints. They were called Xin Feng, Xin Lei, Xin Yu and Xin Yan. Amongst them, half-saint Xin Feng and half-saint Xin Lei's strength were the highest. Zhang Yuochen glanced at the 4 half-saints, somehow remained calm and expressionless, then said, "We shall find out who is digging whose grave." "You insolent mortal monk! How dare you be so arrogant in front of all the half-saints? I can defeat you with one hand." Half-saint Xin Yan felt insulted and stepped forward. Blood-red veins became visible beneath his skin and massive holy chi burst out of his body, ripping his black robe into pieces. A pair of wings grew out of his back and revealed his true form as an immortal vampire. This caused a strong gust of wind in the surrounding air, and filled it with a strong scent of blood. The wind rolled through the treetops, rippling the grass and shaking the underbrush. Feng Han crossed his arms over his chest, looking as if he was waiting for the fight to happen and said, "Half-saint Xin Yan, be careful." Even though he is not as strong as a half-saint, his speed was surprisingly fast. Don't underestimate him and lose the battle. Rest assured, my prince. He is only a mortal monk. I can take him down. Half-saint Xin Yan clearly did not consider him to be a rival at all. There were 6 half-saints of immortal vampires in total. Zhang Yuochen's speed would not matter. In fact, it made him the target. Half-saint Xin Yan flapped his wings hard, propelling his body forward at the top speed of a half-saint. Within a split second, he was already in front of Zhang Yuochen, swinging his claw at his right shoulder. Zhang Yuochen stayed calm as he leaned backwards to dodge the attack. The half-saint immortal vampire's great claws came within inches of Zhang Yuochen's chest, leaving streaks of glow marks as the claws brushed against his chest. "This boy is fast." For a moment, Half-Saint Xinyan stared at Jiang Yuochen with a surprised expression. He had never expected the young man to dodge his sudden surprise attack. Just as his thoughts strayed away, Jiang Yuochen swung the sword at his chest at an even faster speed. The strike transformed into multiple energy swords, raining down upon his chest. Saint Soul territory. Half-Saint Xinyan was an experienced warrior, and his reaction was equally fast. His instinct told him something was not right, and he parried the move by conjuring his Saint Soul territory. At the same time, he raised both his hands to strengthen the defense. He was wearing a pair of black ancient-looking arm guards, sizzling as they were infused with holy chi. Then, a web-like shield was formed, glowing in red and helping to withstand the incoming force. Bang! The force of Abyss Ancient Sword outweighed the glowing shield and penetrated through it, knocking against the arm guards and throwing up a shower of fiery sparks. The vigorous collision threw Half-Saint Xinyan miles away, and his feet sank into the ground where he landed. Cracks started projecting from his feet and formed into a starburst crack. Half-Saint Xinyan felt excruciating pain in both his arms, which were trembling uncontrollably and dripping blood. His eyes widened in shock and he said, "How is it possible for a mortal monk to have such strength?" Feng Han, who was standing afar, looked surprised too. Clearly he had not expected this mortal young man to stall off a half-saint. Only the heirs of Kunlun's field had the capability of hurting a level 1 half-saint. Jiang Yuochen withdrew his sword and placed it upright at his back, standing still at his initial position that was next to Sword Saint Xuanji's body. He then said, "Is that all from a half-cent of immortal vampires?" There was hint of fear in Feng Han's gaze as he turned towards the remaining 4 half-saints. He commanded, "Half-saints Xin Feng, Xin Lei, Xin Yun and Xin Yu, form combined heaven and earth battle formation and take him down. The one who manages to take him alive will be rewarded with Sword Saint Xuanji's saintly source." The saintly source was the relic of a saint. It was the catalyst for anyone to become a saint. Hence, the saintly source was extremely lucrative to all the half-saints, even if it meant fighting against each other. Greed for the treasured saintly source prompted their eyes to turn red, making them look more monstrous in the dark. Feng Han reminded them again, "This area is close to Yin and Yang sect, you must finish him off quickly." The eldest of the 4, Half-Saint Xin Feng said, "Do not worry, my prince. With the power of the 4 of us combined, he will be dead for sure." The 4 half-saints of immortal vampires surrounded Jiang Yuochen from 4 directions, while releasing their respective Saint Soul territory. 4 beams of red light emanated from 4 directions and hovered on Jiang Yuochen. From afar, the beams looked like a huge sphere of blood chi. Soon, the 4 territories combined into one with a loud groan. Its gravitational force increased 10 times stronger, a strength standard found only in a level 2 half-saints territory. The 4 half-saints continued to channel their power to the combined Saint Soul territory, spreading blood fog to the surroundings. Trees and bushes that were exposed to the blood fog wilted immediately. Half-Saint Xinyan stared at Jiang Yuochen viciously, and he was trapped in the combined Saint Soul territory. He said, with the gravity pull of 1,000-fold, "Can you move as fast?" Jiang Yuochen glanced at the combined heaven and earth battle formation, and gave a mocking smile as he replied, "We shall find out." Half-Saint Xinyan scoffed, "Stop pretending as if you are on the winning side, you are now trapped in the formation." Eldest and second brother, let's cripple his limbs. Youngest sister, stay in control of the formation. The 3 half-saint siblings, Xin Feng, Xin Lei and Xin Yun attacked Jiang Yuochen at the same time. Prior to this, Jiang Yuochen had managed to hurt half-saint Xinyan. All of them combined to attack him in full force with the hope of finishing him off in one attack. Half-saint Xin Feng was wielding White Bone Broadsword, a rare fine sword made of bones of a 7th-grade beast, Dragon Eagle. It was engraved with 276 inscriptions, and had been used in sacrificial ritual for the past 10 years before being listed as a 100 pattern saint weapon.